If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll call on you. Start right here. Yeah, please. But that's not going to stretch. Bill, we can start right there.
Where? What?
Right here? Yep. Yeah. Go ahead.
Cody, you made a comment when you were still in AEW that's kind of been on my mind. You made a comment about taking everybody on a ride. Mm-hmm. After everything that's happened, have you had a chance to reflect on the gravity of that statement now and just how much has changed in your own career and just the wrestling world in general?
Do I need to pick any of these up?
If you want, mine in the middle.
This one?
Yep.
No, you can speak into all of them. Yeah, we're good. You just speak right into them.
All right. I'm just gonna set it back down.
I feel like I say a lot in a sense of one of the pitfalls of promotion, whether it was forward facing at my former gig or being here, is there's like a few days of, oh my gosh, I got this interview and it was great, and then 3 days out the quotes just exist in space outside of context, and those quotes, they're real. You did say them, but you do another interview and then a quote sounds different. All this. Long story short, I couldn't have expected what was going to happen. I had plans maybe on another big left turn. I like to say I take a lot of left turns in terms of doing things that are different and betting on myself, but this wasn't anything that I could have expected. I mean, right now, as I'm answering this question, it still hasn't hit me how large of a run that's happened for me and how lucky I am to have had this run just here in WWE, just the recent time. So yeah, I don't know if the gravity of what I wanted to do and what's actually been done since, if I'm really aware of it. But I'd like to continue making strong statements because they hold me to do strong things, I hope.
Nick?
What up, Nick?
Oh, wow.
How are you?
Thank you for that. So, Cody, there were some rumors that your former EVPs, the Elite, may have been WWE bound before re-signing with AEW. I was just wanting to know your reaction to them choosing to stay there as opposed to joining you here. I'm very happy when any wrestler or superstar gets paid. I don't want to sound carny or hacky, but to know that your peers and people who take the bumps and go through all this and have that type of the physical struggle that comes with this gig, to know they're getting paid is really exciting. I am over the moon that group did what they did, because as Nick Jackson said, I believe they've made some NBA money off of it. And I'm honestly just really happy for them. I am. I would have loved to have seen them again, but I'm very happy for the choices they made. And that schedule is a little different. This particular gig at WWE, it's a different type of personality. Maybe fits me a little bit more. Yeah, but very happy for him. Thank you, Cody.
Awesome, crazy. Read a service event, Cody, and you took the time to be here. For my listeners, I want them to understand why it's important to be a part of the community and get that.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Thank you for bringing it up, because that's the most exciting thing that's happening. 62,000 meals likely to be packed, all going to the city of Detroit, going to these food banks. In addition to that, the VIP element of this, all of that money going to Connor's Cure and the V Foundation, every piece of that, I mean, literally every cent goes there. So every piece of that is the best thing that we can do, not just as a wrestler, superstar, person packing the meals, fan attending the event, media attending the event. There's a good feeling that surrounds all this. It's funny, almost juxtaposed against, I have to wrestle Brock Lesnar tomorrow, and it will be violent and physical, and maybe bloody, and maybe just absolute chaos, but we still all came to the city of Detroit, one of the most classic and beautiful cities in the world,
and doing this for, again, Connor's Cure and the V Foundation. Wonderful spots. Every cent goes there. And all of this mac and cheese getting packed for these food banks. Thank you guys, for being here. And I'm happy to be part of this. I would do this every time we come to a city. Happy to be here.
You can go right here at the end. Yep.
So, Cody, this tomorrow night is your first SummerSlam in 8 years. And if I'm correct in this, it'll be the first time in 10 years since you walked into a SummerSlam as Cody Rhodes. And not only that, you're facing Brock Lesnar in one of the main events tomorrow. Just kind of, what does that mean to you to come back and now be at this historic event, be able to walk out there as Cody Rhodes?
The big ones, right? You know, we all know what our big four are. I know it changes, and we try to change, but at least two of the big four are pretty consistent. It's very. There's a large sense of responsibility, is the best way that I would put it. It's not the most exciting or sexy answer, but everything I do, I want to kind of reinforce my place in the world, in this world. I want to reinforce my place. And I have the largest task ahead of me in terms of a Brock Lesnar. I really do think Brock Lesnar is Mr. SummerSlam, kind of looking through his former accolades at SummerSlam, just beating The Rock, just that alone. So the task is in front of me, and it's another opportunity to show people where I want to be, where I think I am. The fun part for me is this connection that I have with this WWE universe and pro wrestling fans has grown beyond what my wildest expectations. So again, going into this match with Brock, and the dangers of it, the violence of it, I still can't do anything but smile, really, just because I look forward to having that moment in Detroit. And again, that's a great stat I didn't even know. So to be able to make that walk anytime you can and connect with the audience, it's the best.
Steve?
Cody, I watched your documentary on Peacock. I cried a lot watching it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's great. Great story. But how do you think about the reception of your documentary on Peacock? Because I loved it, but we'll see how you feel about it.
I don't want to be tacky. I even told one of my friends who's a member of the media this the other day. I am looking forward to somebody leaking the information about the doc in terms of how well the doc did, because it did really well. And that makes me feel great, because when it's about you, you don't have a clue. You don't know, is this good? Is this bad? This is your life. You've lived it. There's a lot of crying. Would you cheer for this guy who's crying so much? Or blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of experience, like emotions you experience watching your specific story and your specific doc. I can't thank Matt Brain and Ben Hauser enough for what they did with it, and I'm really hoping somebody gets it out there about how well it did, because I really like to, I don't know what the kids call it anymore, I don't know the vernacular, but I really like to kind of wave the banner when a wrestler, our superstar, however you want to refer to us, does something that permeates into pop culture and mainstream. It's good for all of us when that happens, and this doc was able to do that. So one of you please scoop the deets somehow.
Right here.
Hi, Cody.
Hey.
After watching the documentary, which was great, at this time of your career, what do you think is that advice that Dustin goes to your dad will tell you at this time, this moment?
Whew, man. That's a tough one. I kind of think, it's only from my experience with him as a dad, I kind of think at this point he wouldn't be doing the advice as much. When if you watch the doc, for one thing, for the amateur wrestling, when things really started taking off for me, he kind of became this silent supporter, and he might have had plenty of opinions or ideas or wanted me to do this or angry that this happened to me on the mat or didn't like an official or did like something, whatever it may be. But he kind of just stood back and let me do it. And I kept thinking about what he would be like if he was at Mania this year. And I'm telling you, he probably wouldn't have said a word. He he probably just would have enjoyed that it was happening. Because he had this belief in me, but still, it's a long way to get to some of the spots that we've been so lucky to get into. So I think he would have just been quiet and hung in there. I mean, his classic advice always, as far as wrestling and sports entertainment is concerned, is hit your finish. That's his classic, hey, are you hitting your finish? Hit your finish. Just that was his go-to. So maybe that.
Cody.
Bill, why you got all the way on the outside? Do you know everyone here, by the way? You guys know Bill is just an absolute legend. A little round of applause for Bill. Woo! I actually, I put a post on my Instagram just now. I got to read Libby's story before she went down for her nap today, and I feel with the way the schedule is here now, and the having the bus and having the family on the bus, I'm able to kind of be there as much as I could possibly be there, far more than the guys were able to be there during Dusty's heyday and that period. I'm a big believer, and you can understand this more than anybody here. I'm a big believer, and there are some wrestlers who feel that they can't have that and this. They can't have both, right? And that's a sacrifice to a degree that they make. I'm a big believer is you can have it because of this. Like, one of the driving things for me, again, I see so many do it for Dusty signs. Those are great. I love them. Totally understand the sentiment. But I think more do it for Brandy, do it for Liberty. That's more of, that's really what drives me. So the balance, to answer your question, I feel I'm doing okay with the balance. Brandy pulls a lot of the load, and I feel I'm doing okay. But I strive to be better. Thank you.
Cody.
Yeah.
So one of your greatest matches ever is with Mr. Brody Lee and Luke Harper. It's a dog collar match. If you could face anyone in the WWE in the dog collar match, who would it be?
So specific of a question. I still have that in my gear bag, by the way. I have my collar. So it's the only thing. I still have it. I would say you want to get someone. Here's who you don't want to have a dog collar match with: Brock, Otis. I'm trying to think of these low to ground, like big neck, because the scariest thing with a dog collar match isn't the chain. It's you're pulled by your neck. That's the most terrifying thing ever. If you're coming off the ropes, it's the most terrifying thing I could possibly think of. I guess if I had to say, hey, this is who I'd do a dog collar match with. Gosh, that's a tough one. Nah, it's definitely, I'm going to answer this. I got to find somebody. I'm going through it in my head. Karrion Kross. Yeah, Karrion Kross. I hope that's not like big news. It's just answering your question, but yeah, I know. I think I don't know. The reason I say that is he feels like a bad guy to me. I like bad guys. It just feels like the presentation of it kind of fits with him. But that's also off the top of my head. So.
Cool. We have one more, AJ.
Oh, AJ, you got the final. You got the final.
You have a huge match tomorrow against Brock Lesnar, the third match of the feud. How have you been preparing for your match?
So, I can say my experience with Brock Lesnar from Backlash, Night of Champions, and all that's happened on Monday Night Raw with Brock and I and in between. It's the most physical ever for me as a wrestler, to a degree that I hate. It's not even trying to sound funny, but it's the truth. It feels like you're wrestling a bear every night. Legit, it just feels like a full-grown grizzly bear. And with that in mind, I try to do all the things that'll keep me healthy, keep me going in terms of nutrition, hydration, all my workouts. I got a great team with with Brad and Jeff, who put that all together for me. But I almost try to trap that stuff outside so that I don't have to think about the type of fight I'm getting into with Brock Lesnar. But a small scoop for you, small scoop. I'm by no means an NCAA champion or a former UFC champion or even somebody who has a jiu-jitsu background. But I do know a few things. And I do know a few things that Brock Lesnar has not seen in our previous 2 matches, maybe that are more of the jiu-jitsu-like ilk. And with that in mind, I keep those in the pocket in case I need them.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Woo! Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Let's go.
Okay, street clothes. Why you gotta do this? No, I'm just embarrassed looking like this.
He will come up next. You guys will stay.
I watched. Thank you again, guys. Thank you. I watched.